3 weeks on from his appearance on this show, prospective Reading buyer William Storey has pulled out of the race to become the club's new owner. Writing on X overnight, he said, after signing a contract and exclusivity in October, we entered a period of due diligence. Our accountants have reported. My investors and I have decided not to proceed. I wish the club...
And I had to come up with some money. Someone mentioned money.
And loyal
They
fans...
need 13 million to the end of the season.
The very best, and hope they get an owner who will invest for the long-term success. Was it that he was put off by the accounts, or was it a ruse?
I just think him and Bassini, probably went to the same school.
Clown College, yeah.
But at least Bassini actually owned a football club at one point. This guy came after me on Twitter a couple of years ago. I didn't realise it was the same guy. Because he has a personal account and then he has his energy drinks account. He did, yeah. I think he was trying to buy Sunderland. So he was having a pop at me, and Sunderland fans, to be fair, were defending me when he was having a pop. But I don't know why people do this. Like, I don't know what's in it for them. I don't know why they come out and say... Simon made a point earlier. If I'm buying something, you wouldn't know until I'm the governor. The first thing you'd know is when I'm sat having a press conference, like I did with Peterborough. No one really knew until the day I flew in. I was sat at a table at a press conference talking about it, because I would hate to be embarrassed when I'm talking about the manager and talking about what they need and players and this and that, and then it doesn't happen. And also, I'm a little bit superstitious. I feel if you're talking about something like that and you haven't done it, it's not going to happen. So I'm not sure what he had to gain, bar maybe publicity, whatever.
Is it publicity for his energy drink?
Who knows?
That you can't buy.
I don't know. I mean,
you can't buy?
You guys got him on.
Well, I couldn't buy it. I tried to buy it. I couldn't.
You can't find it?
I couldn't find it, no.
Oh.
I mean, again, I go to the point that was making myself and Darragh making in the break, is that you tend to hear about transactions that are going to be done by people that have done them.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the ones that are played out in the public domain, most of the time, there were exceptions, because, of course, the Chelsea situation was played out in the public domain because of the needs must. Yeah. And when you've got football clubs of the scale of Manchester United that are public listed businesses, you're going to see people like that in the public domain. But when you go further down the food chain, most football clubs get bought in distress because no one wants to pay the price for a football club that no one would pay for a business that's losing money unless there's a good reason behind it. And that's a distress position. Look, I listened to him on the call because I think I was away in Spain, and I just happened to see it posted somewhere.
You were listening to us when you were away. That's so nice.
Yeah, I was wanting to see what you and Alex were doing to the figures that myself and Jim left you with. Given the radars were coming up soon, we certainly didn't want
hence why you begged me to come back while you were away.
Well, I did say that, ratings builder.
Did.
But the point is that I listened to him. I thought he had coherent answers to the questions, and I thought Alex stepped a little bit over the line at times. And if I was somebody on the phone listening to some of the conversations that were being had,
to push him in the end.
Well, to an extent, yeah, because he's turned out to be a water mitty. My central premise would be. Yeah, but you've still got to conduct yourself in a way with a modicum of respect, because the guy could have ended up buying the football club.
Exactly.
But the point is this. But the point is this: is that if you come on air and you start talking about something you're going to do, 99 times out of 100 they don't tend to do it, and that's the problem that we have with people like Bassini. Every time Bassini used to come in, whilst it's great value for the audience, it's tiresome, because it's like pulling.
You said that before.
Well, it's like it's ultimately like putting salt on a slug and pulling, legs off a spider. It's not difficult to do with Lawrence because he's not programmed for questions. And you get these sort of guys on, it's audience engaging, but really when it comes down to it, they lack credibility. And whilst I thought he had lots of coherent answers, when you come off the call, you're thinking to yourself, with anyone of any sense is thinking, why would you be in talking to the media before you've done something?
But there were also holes in what he had to say as well, which was a big problem and highlighted very much.
That Reading's a big football club.
I'd love Reading to have come out and said
but
something.
It's not a big football club.
We're not on a period of due diligence with him. Why would you give somebody, without seeing their money, a period of due diligence or
But what happens next for a club like Reading? Because they're in a spot. Mike Ashley is apparently.
Mike Ashley will save them.
Yeah.
And he'd be the best owner they could have.
And I think there's an argument for that too. I know Newcastle fans will have a sharp intake of breath.
No matter, he always paid his bills.
Yeah. The point is this, look.
Is that from a receiving club?
Reading is not a big football club. It's a parochial football club that John Majewski gave some breath into.
What a job he did.
And he did a great job at times.
Mike Ashley will take Reading to the Premier League.
If he does it, yeah. I mean, if he does it, and I think there's probably a sentiment of wind in his sails, because I know he looked at Derby and there was an interest there. I think he's absolutely right, Darragh. I think despite the protestation that Mike Ashley is a devil incarnate when it comes to football clubs. He's not. But he did miss an opportunity, because if he'd played the room differently at Newcastle, he would have been a god. He could have been a god, and he could also have had a football club that was worth £3 billion.
I told Mike Ashley, he was in my office, we played them in the League Cup. I said, Mike, you're a great guy, we've had fun here tonight. You have to let the fans see this, but you have to be transparent and tell them. You have to be what your plan is, and you have to spend a few quid. It's not going to work like you run your business. So I honestly think Reading would be lucky to have him, as would League One.
But the version of Mike Ashley that's here now, I think Mike Ashley bounced into Newcastle off the back of the development of Sports Direct and all that came with that, and felt that he could translate whatever he wanted to into that industry.
Do you think he was a different Mike Ashley now? We're going to see more of him?
I think you
potentially, yes.
If you don't change certain aspects of your character in an industry that have caused you problems, then you're a fool, and he's anything but a fool.
Because one of the big problems was we never heard from him.
Correct, but you also geography. Like Newcastle, I know where he lives, and Reading's a lot easier for his helicopter to get there in 2 minutes, and he would be there. I promise you, if Mike Ashley buys Reading, that'd be the best thing for the Reading fans. Not some guy or a joker coming on talkSPORT, with talkSPORT getting him on, talking about buying it, who probably doesn't have the money. Mike Ashley could buy it in an hour, and he'll want a deal, and he'll get a deal.
And they need a deal.
And they need a deal.
They're desperate for.
But Mike
for
Ashley, they'll probably end up in League Two if they get sanctioned again.
Yeah,
and I think that's coming. But what Mike Ashley will do,
but they've been referred to an independent
and
commission.
he's waiting probably till it gets a bit worse.
Oh yeah, or
before he can then go.
Someone dumps it into administration and takes the penalties when they go down, and Mike can pick up the club at a song.
He'll take them from League Two to the Prem in 6 years.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.